In a surprising move, Pope Francis has disclosed the name of his potential successor, catching the global community off guard. This groundbreaking announcement has generated a mix of curiosity, excitement, and even controversy among believers and skeptics, raising questions about the future of the Catholic Church. Pope Francis has left an indelible mark on the modern Catholic Church, crafting a legacy that sets him apart from his predecessors. When he first appeared on the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica in 2013, his humble and approachable personality immediately resonated with people around the world. As the first Jesuit pope and the first from the Americas, he brought a fresh perspective that shook things up in the best way. Mercy, dialogue, and inclusion became the hallmarks of his leadership, signaling a new chapter for the Church. Pope Francis celebrated Mass in the Muslim-majority United Arab Emirates, a jaw-dropping revelation that sent shockwaves through the global community. He has also unveiled the name of his potential successor, a groundbreaking announcement that has sparked curiosity, excitement, and even controversy among believers and skeptics alike. This development is bound to make headlines worldwide and has significant implications for the future of the Catholic Church. Pope Francis has left an extraordinary mark on the modern Catholic Church, crafting a legacy unlike any before him. When he first stepped onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica in 2013, his humble and down-to-earth demeanor instantly resonated with people across the globe. As the first Jesuit pope and the first one from the Americas, he brought a fresh perspective that shook things up in the best way possible. Mercy, dialogue, and inclusion became the hallmarks of his leadership, signaling a new chapter for the Church. Pope Francis has spent his papacy trying to build bridges within the Church itself and the world. Climate change, poverty, and migration have been at the forefront during his tenure. His groundbreaking encyclical Laudato Si was a wake-up call, urging everyone to take better care of our shared planet. His relentless focus on the vulnerable, refugees, the poor, and society's forgotten corners has redefined the Church's role in addressing these pressing issues. How Pope Francis has faced challenges in leading the Catholic Church with a transformative vision. While traditionalists within the Church have resisted his openness toward divorced Catholics, LGBTQ+ individuals, and non-believers, his supporters see him as addressing the real complexities of modern times. Francis's humble leadership, from his choice to live in a simple guest house to his understated style and hands-on approach, has set a refreshing new tone for the papacy, reminding everyone that the essence of the Church is about connection and service. The immense responsibility Pope Francis faces as the leader of the Catholic Church, which has over 1.3 billion followers. One of the biggest challenges he has faced is addressing the clergy abuse crisis, which has plagued the Church for decades. While he has taken steps to hold bishops accountable and organize a global summit on protecting minors, many survivors and advocates feel the Church still has a long way to go to make amends and prevent future harm. As Pope Francis's age and health issues have fueled speculation about his eventual resignation, the question of who will succeed him and whether they will continue his progressive reforms or move the Church in a more traditional direction could significantly impact the future of Catholicism. The resignation of Pope Benedict XVI in 2013 was a courageous act, and this has shifted the way people view the transition of papal leadership. In this context, the next pope will face the significant challenge of continuing Francis's legacy while addressing the Church's ongoing issues, such as declining attendance in the West, the rise of secularism, and the growing influence of Catholicism in regions like Africa and Asia. The potential rise of Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle could signal the dawn of a truly global Church, where the leadership reflects the vibrant faith of the global South. Tagle's alignment with Francis's vision and his embodiment of the humility and inclusiveness that defined Francis's leadership are significant. His work mirrors the values of a Church striving to connect with the global faithful, and his election might redefine what it means to lead the Catholic Church in a diverse world. Tagle could either further Francis's reform or carve his own path. The Church's focus is on reaching out and providing support to underprivileged communities. How any future pope will face the challenge of uniting a polarized Catholic Church, balancing the hopes of progressives and traditionalists. For much of its history, the papacy was tied to Italy, but that changed in 1978 when Pope John Paul II, a Polish cardinal, became the first non-Italian pope in 455 years. His election marked a turning point, symbolizing the Church's globalization and expanding influence. The growing prominence of Catholic communities in Asia, Africa, and Latin America highlights the need for representation. The potential election of a leader from the global south, like Tagle, could bring a fresh perspective to the papacy, symbolizing continuity, renewal, and the church's ongoing evolution in a rapidly changing world. The new pope offered a distinct viewpoint to the church's leadership. The papacy has become increasingly diverse in recent years, with the election of non-Italian popes like Pope Benedict XVI and Pope Francis, who is from Argentina. However, the process of selecting a new pope has often been marked by political maneuvering and power struggles, sometimes overshadowing the spiritual significance of the role. In the past, powerful European monarchs have interfered in papal elections, adding to the complexity and controversy surrounding the process. As the Catholic Church faces new challenges, the next conclave may have an opportunity to embrace inclusivity and spiritual renewal, breaking away from the historical pattern of political intrigue. The Catholic Church has not shied away from influencing the selection of popes to align with their agendas, even in recent times. For instance, in the 1903 conclave, Emperor Franz Joseph of Austria vetoed the election of Cardinal Mariano Rampolla, leading to the selection of Pope Pius X. This intervention prompted a ban on secular interference in future papal elections. The election of non-Italian popes, such as John Paul II, has also been a subject of debate, often seen as a stance against communism. More recently, the election of Pope Francis signaled a shift towards the growing influence of the Church in the global South. These choices reflect the Church's effort to balance its spiritual leadership with geopolitical realities. Despite its global reach, the papacy has remained underrepresented in regions like Africa, which has a deep historical connection to Christianity and a rapidly expanding Catholic population. Asia is home to vibrant Catholic communities in countries like the Philippines, India, and Vietnam. However, the Church's leadership has never come from these regions, even as Catholicism's center of gravity shifts to the global South. Calls for greater inclusivity are growing louder, and a pope from one of these underrepresented regions would not only be symbolic, but also reflect the Church's evolving identity and priorities. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, often called Asia's Pope Francis, is one of the most inspiring figures in the Catholic Church today. His humility, inclusivity, and unwavering commitment to service embody the values the Church strives to uphold. Born in the Philippines, Tagle grew up in a modest household where faith was the cornerstone of daily life, shaping his compassion and empathy, which have defined his ministry and made him a beloved leader. From a young age, Tagle's dedication to his faith and education stood out as he studied philosophy and theology. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle's deep passion for knowledge and spirituality led him to earn a doctorate in sacred theology, where he focused on the Second Vatican Council's emphasis on episcopal collegiality. This strong academic foundation shaped his vision of a collaborative, inclusive, and pastoral-focused church. Ordained as a priest in 1982, Tagle became known for his down-to-earth approach and ability to make complex theological ideas accessible and relatable. When he became the bishop of his hometown diocese of Imus in 2001, Tagle embodied servant leadership, rejecting the trappings of hierarchy and living simply. His approachable nature and focus on community made him a spiritual leader who truly lived his message of love and service. In 2011, Pope Benedict XVI appointed Tagle as the Archbishop of Manila, placing him in charge of one of Asia's largest and most influential dioceses, where he immediately tackled significant issues. How Pope Francis, known as Tagle in the Philippines, has been a tireless advocate for the poor and marginalized. His homilies call for action to uphold the dignity of every individual and show compassion in the face of injustice. Tagle's actions, such as carrying his own luggage, using public transportation, and washing the feet of the homeless, reflect his humility and focus on those on the margins. This contrasts with the often hierarchical image of the Church and has endeared him to Catholics worldwide. During the devastating Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines, Tagle mobilized the Church to provide relief and help rebuild communities, while also offering personal comfort and solidarity to those in need. As president of Caritas Internationalis, the Catholic Church's global charity network, Tagle has championed causes like climate change, migration, and inequality, inspiring Catholics around the world to stand up for the most vulnerable. Cardinal Tagle's leadership in the Catholic Church. He is known for his advocacy for young people, encouraging them to actively participate in shaping the Church's future. His warm and approachable style resonates with the youth, making faith feel relevant and empowering for the next generation. Interfaith dialogue is another key aspect of Tagle's ministry, as he works tirelessly to build bridges between faiths, focusing on shared values such as compassion, justice, and peace. His humility and ability to listen have earned him respect beyond the Catholic community. As the church faces a rapidly changing world, Tagle's name is increasingly mentioned as a potential successor to Pope Francis, with his emphasis on humility, social justice, youth engagement, and interfaith dialogue making him a compelling figure for the future of the church. The Catholic Church is facing challenges, including declining church attendance, that will profoundly shape its future. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tell is widely regarded as a strong contender for the role of the next pope. As the Catholic Church faces a multitude of challenges in the 21st century, many within the institution believe that Tell possesses the necessary qualities to lead the church into a new era. One of the church's most pressing concerns is the steady decline in attendance, particularly in its traditional strongholds like Europe and the Americas. Younger generations in particular are increasingly disengaging from organized religion, citing a perceived sense of irrelevance, rigidity, and the lingering effects of various scandals that have plagued the institution in recent decades. Reversing this worrying trend will require a leader who can effectively connect the church's timeless teachings and core values to the realities of the modern world. This is an area where Cardinal Tell is widely seen to excel. With his relatable and approachable personal style, he has demonstrated a remarkable ability to break down barriers and build bridges across generations and diverse cultural backgrounds. Through his charismatic and inclusive leadership, Tell has shown a unique aptitude for presenting the church's enduring wisdom in a manner that resonates with contemporary audiences. In contrast to some of his more conservative counterparts, Tell is known for his openness to adapting traditional practices and doctrines to better suit the needs of modern-day followers. His willingness to engage in open and honest dialogue, as well as his commitment to addressing the concerns of the church's critics, have earned him widespread respect and admiration, both within the institution and among the broader public. As the Catholic Church navigates a period of profound social, cultural, and demographic change, the selection of the next pope will undoubtedly be a pivotal moment that will shape the direction of the institution for years to come. With his unique blend of theological expertise, pastoral experience, and innovative thinking, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tell has emerged as a leading contender to take on this critical mantle of leadership. The generational differences within the church are significant. Older Catholics tend to favor tradition, while younger ones often push for reform and inclusivity. However, Tag has proven his ability to navigate this divide. His leadership has consistently demonstrated respect for tradition, while also embracing the renewal needed to keep the church relevant. He has earned the respect of both traditionalists and progressives, not just for his ideas, but for his ability to listen and find common ground. The tension between tradition and reform is not new to the church, but it is more urgent now than ever. Some advocate for stricter adherence to doctrine, while others call for progressive changes, including greater inclusion of women, LGBTQ+ individuals, and divorced Catholics. Tag's leadership style offers a way to bridge this gap. He draws inspiration from Pope Francis, focusing on mercy, dialogue, and action over rigid dogmatism. His work with Caritas Internationalis, the church's global charity network, demonstrates his commitment to addressing the world's most pressing issues, from inequality to climate change. Tagle's extensive religious knowledge and profound reverence for ecclesiastical tradition make him uniquely qualified to engage with the more conservative elements within the Catholic Church. His exceptional ability to explain complex theological concepts in a relatable and meaningful manner positions him as a unifying leader who can bridge the divides that often exist between progressive and traditionalist factions. This skill is particularly valuable as Catholicism continues to witness remarkable growth in regions such as Africa and Asia, where diverse perspectives and cultural nuances must be navigated with care and sensitivity. Tagle's global perspective and deep cultural awareness further establish him as a compelling and well-suited candidate to guide the church in the 21st century. Asia, in particular, has witnessed an unprecedented surge in Catholic adherence, yet the region has never been represented at the highest level of church leadership. The papacy, Tagle's potential selection as the first Asian pope, would signal a significant shift in the church's power structure, reflecting its evolving identity as a truly global institution that celebrates the rich diversity of its flock. Tagle's remarkable journey from a humble parish priest in the Philippines to a respected global leader within the Catholic Church exemplifies the vitality and dynamism of Asian Catholicism. His rise to prominence is a testament to the vibrant faith, intellectual rigor, and cultural sensitivity that characterize the Church's growth across the Asian continent. As the Church navigates the challenges and opportunities of the modern era, Tagle's leadership and vision could prove instrumental in shaping a more inclusive, responsive, and spiritually enriching institution for Catholics around the world. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle's deep and nuanced understanding of the cultural and social complexities of the Asia-Pacific region positions him as a uniquely qualified bridge between the Catholic Church's traditional centers of power and its rapidly growing areas of influence in the global South. His unwavering commitment to interfaith dialogue and cooperation is a defining hallmark of his dynamic leadership within the Philippine context, where Catholics and Muslims have coexisted for centuries. Through his tireless efforts, Tagle has worked tirelessly to build meaningful relationships and foster mutual understanding based on the shared values of compassion, justice, and service to the common good. Globally, Tagle's ability to engage thoughtfully and respectfully with leaders of other faiths, from Buddhism to Hinduism to Islam, clearly demonstrates his readiness and vision to guide the Church in navigating an increasingly pluralistic world that increasingly values collaboration and partnership over outdated models of conflict and confrontation. In a time of significant social, political, and ecological challenges facing the human family, Cardinal Tagle embodies the very qualities that many believe are needed to shepherd the Church into a new and more inclusive era of its storied history. Combining a profound sense of humility with a deep cultural awareness and a steadfast commitment to social justice, Tagle would not only make history as the first ever Asian pope, but would also bring a fresh energy, global perspective, and spirit of openness to the highest office of the Catholic Church. His potential election could mark the beginning of a transformative new chapter that skillfully blends the Church's venerable traditions with the evolving realities of modernity, while emphasizing unity and diversity and an expansive vision of an inclusive and compassionate global community. As the world watches the papal transition with bated breath, many see in Cardinal Tagle the promise of a church that is positioned to be a force for healing, reconciliation, and the advancement of human dignity for all. The Pope's recent comments, which were widely interpreted as a subtle endorsement of Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle as a potential successor, have created a buzz in the Vatican and the global Catholic community. Although not an official declaration, the Pope's remarks during a private meeting with senior church officials have sparked intense speculation about the future of the papacy. The Pope reportedly highlighted qualities that resonate deeply with his own values, such as humility, compassion, and a commitment to serving those on society's margins, indicating that the Church needs a shepherd who understands the peripheries and can connect with the faithful in a profound and meaningful way. For those familiar with Cardinal Tagle's remarkable journey, this moment feels both surprising and profoundly fitting. As the current prefect of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples, Cardinal Tagle has already demonstrated his ability to connect with people from all walks of life, from the affluent to the impoverished, and his unwavering dedication to the principles of social justice and mercy has made him a beloved figure within the Church. His humble and approachable demeanor, coupled with his intellectual prowess and theological acumen, have positioned him as a rising star within the Vatican hierarchy, and many have long speculated that he could be a contender for the papacy in the future. The Pope's apparent endorsement of Cardinal Tagle's qualities has only fueled these speculations, as historically popes have occasionally hinted at their preferences for the next leader of the Church. This is a delicate and complex process, as the selection of a new pope is ultimately determined by the College of Cardinals, who must carefully consider a wide range of factors, including the needs of the Church, the global political and social landscape, and the qualities and experiences of the various candidates. Nevertheless, the implications of the Pope's words are clear, and they have sparked a renewed sense of anticipation and excitement within the Catholic community. Many are eager to see how the process unfolds and whether Cardinal Tagle's star will continue to rise in the coming years, potentially culminating in his election as the next leader of the Catholic Church. As the faithful continue to watch and wait, the buzz surrounding the Pope's comments is sure to only grow louder in the months and years ahead. The Pope's comments carry significant weight, especially as discussions about his successor become more urgent due to his advancing age. The process of electing the next pope, the conclave, is steeped in centuries-old tradition. Cardinals from around the world gather in the Sistine Chapel, isolated from the outside world, to discern the church's new leader. While the Holy Spirit is believed to guide the process, earthly factors like regional representation, theological leanings, and personal alliances inevitably play a role. The potential candidacy of Cardinal Tagle introduces a compelling dynamic, as he represents a growing demographic force within Catholicism as a cardinal from the global south. His election would mark a significant shift, as the church has historically been led by European figures. This shift could signal a renewed focus on the needs and perspectives of the global south, a region that has seen exponential growth in Catholic adherence in recent decades. Cardinal Tagle's background and experience in ministering to diverse communities could bring a fresh approach to the papacy, one that prioritizes inclusivity, compassion, and a more nuanced understanding of the challenges facing the church in the developing world. However, this move might face resistance from traditionalists who favor a return to the church's more conservative roots. The election of a non-European pope could be seen by some as a departure from the established norms and traditions that have guided the church for centuries. There may be concerns that a more progressive leadership could lead to a dilution of core Catholic teachings or a drift away from the church's historical identity. Cardinal Tagle's alignment with Pope Francis's progressive vision could prove polarizing, signaling hope for a more inclusive and compassionate church for some, while raising concerns about diverging too far from established norms for others. The potential for a theological and cultural clash between Tagle's reformist agenda and the more conservative factions within the church cannot be overlooked. This tension could lead to intense debates and power struggles within the church, as different groups vie for the direction of its future. Nonetheless, Tagle's widespread popularity among clergy and laity is noteworthy. His ability to connect with people from diverse backgrounds and his demonstrated commitment to social justice issues could make him an appealing candidate for those seeking a more dynamic and responsive leadership in the church. The prospect of a Tagle papacy could inspire a new generation of Catholics, particularly in the global south, to engage more deeply with their faith and the church's mission. The election of the next pope is a pivotal moment in the history of the Catholic Church. The choice of Cardinal Tagle or any other candidate will have far-reaching implications for the church's future trajectory, both in terms of its theological orientation and its global influence. As the church navigates the challenges of the 21st century, the selection of its new leader will be closely watched and scrutinized, with the potential to shape the course of Catholicism for decades to come. Tagle's remarkable ability to connect with people across cultural boundaries and earn their trust has earned him deep respect and admiration throughout the continent. His charismatic presence and commitment to bridge building have made him a compelling candidate in the eyes of many Catholics who yearn for a leader who can navigate the complexities of the modern world. However, the outcome of the papal election remains shrouded in uncertainty, as the intricate interplay of politics, prayer, and the diverse personalities within the church ensure that each such election is a moment of profound suspense and anticipation. The Catholic Church is at a critical juncture, facing a multitude of challenges and opportunities. The choice of the next pope is not merely about maintaining the status quo, but rather about the potential for transformative change. Tagle, or a candidate with a similar vision, would symbolize a church ready to embrace its shifting demographic center and recommit to the values of humility, inclusivity, and global solidarity. This shift would signal a profound departure from the traditional power structures and hierarchies that have characterized the church for centuries, ushering in a new era of openness, compassion, and responsiveness to the needs of the faithful around the world. Yet, the path to this potential transformation is fraught with obstacles. Competing candidates, each with their own distinct visions and agendas, add to the unpredictability of the outcome. The church's long-held traditions and the entrenched interests of various factions within its ranks present formidable challenges to those seeking to chart a new course. The weight of this decision, therefore, is immense, as the choice of the next pope will not only impact the internal dynamics of the church, but also its relationship with the wider world. In this era of uncertainty and upheaval, the Catholic Church stands at a crossroads. The world watches with bated breath, eager to see the direction the church will take and the role it will play in shaping the global landscape. The next pope, whether Tagle or another candidate, will have the power to not only define the church's future, but also to profoundly influence the very soul of the institution. This moment in church history is a pivotal one, and the choices made will reverberate for generations to come, with the potential to inspire hope, heal divisions, and forge a path path towards a more just, equitable, and compassionate world. Thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated on the latest news. See you next time.